So today we're gonna do a loaded strut and we're gonna unload it. So we gotta figure stuff out. So you want it straight. If you have one of these machines, you're good. So we're gonna make it even. You see how it's like that? We have to make it straight. We have these little things, and that goes up and this goes down. I guess this is called a Brannick strut spring compressor model 7200, but mostly they're all the same. Some of them on the floor, some of them right here. So we have to figure this thing out. Gotta make it where it reaches that. Keep going. So what this does, this starts compressing. You gotta make sure you're tight. So this starts compressing the spring. Then you can let this loose and come apart. I believe it's a 17 or 18. We'll find out. Well, I'm always missing my 18s. Let's see. 17 and 18. Let's try out the 18 first. Told you. So what we're doing today, since it's making a noise, and 4 don't sell struts loaded, that's making a noise. So you have the caps, but then you also have bearings. They say these ones were bearings. So before the beater cuts off, I'm gonna show you. You see? Take the nut off. And that's how you load it. Now, you gotta be careful and get the spring out. Open it up slowly. And it's any strut. They're all struts are the same. The only difference is they're just different sizes. And you see, I kind of messed up a little bit because that side came off. But you'll be okay. So you see how it was showing me what that was. So I'm guessing we have to raise this one up a little bit. Okay, you see? Now that's better. So open it. Get this out. So what's damaged on mine is this. You see how it has bearings? It has bearings, guys. That's what that is. That's why mine was. So okay, we had to take it apart. You're supposed to have a gasket. On the drawing it shows me a gasket that goes here and here. OEM didn't have it. So this is the gasket. Goes right there. And or if it's easier for you, you can put it over here on this side. You see? Then you can put this one on top and just close it. Then you have this goes in there. Then you have this. It goes in there. Now you put this back over here. I guess it really don't matter. Because this one, I took it off like this. So, mofoco, the numbers, and this. If I remember correctly, I took it off like this. Close to it, something like that. Now that goes back, and you start compressing. You start compressing, then this goes like this. Then you just get back to the old position. You see that? And it's gonna come out up top and you get a nut. But I gotta do some testing on this one to see how bad is it. You see that? Now let's compare it to the new one. You see? You see how fast? So we're gonna put a new one. So now we gotta make sure we got that's the right hand side. I gotta make sure I got, you see how that says left? Because I gotta do both sides. But I'll be right back. Okay. Fuck them. So this is the right side, and we're doing the right side, right? Okay, little story why I'm doing all this. I was working on this car. It came in from another shop. He said it had misfires, right? There's a TSV on a 2.0 where the engine's bad and it gets water into the cylinders, into the oil. So he just came here, I need a new motor, put it on, you know, took the old one off, couldn't drive it because it was full of water, milky. Then the customer, I put the engine back on, and when I test drove it, I heard noise on the suspension. So I told him, I said, you got some noise in the suspension. So the customer trying to say that it didn't have that noise before, that it was because I replaced the motor. And since we a big corporation, we don't need no bad feedback coming back to us. And if you're a mechanic, you know what I'm talking about. It had strut noise. So now we're replacing struts for free because customer said that it didn't have that noise before. But if you know, you know. So this is how you remove the spring out of the strut. Disassemble and assemble. Easy stuff. On this video, since I was too busy trying to make the video, I didn't really pay attention to this, but you should always pay attention which way you got the plate, that way you can align it over there. I'm gonna let this one like this and then I'll pay attention in the other one. But that's how a loaded strut works. You got that. You got this. And this is your new one. And this is the old one. You can tell. And that's how you do a loaded strut. Thank you guys for watching. Now I gotta go put in the car. Nah, you thought. Mira, stop recording. Mira. So we're gonna do it one more time. You set the strut, line them up, make it look straight. Remember, you have the numbers facing this way. You gotta remember how you get out so it won't be a fucking pain in the ass. I'm sorry. Then you take the nut off. Then you take this off. So we're gonna use a new one anyways. Transfer this. Transfer that. Then bring it out. Remember, mofoco was over there. You gotta be careful. You're gonna adjust it. What happens is it was loaded, it changed the angle. That's all. Remember, mofoco was facing that way. We need this stopper. That's a new one. New one. Put the gasket on. Put the new bearing on. Put your stopper on. Then put your sleeve on. Then look for mofoco. I guess it really don't matter. Mofoco was over there. Get a little bit more straight facing that way. Stick this one in, stick this one in. Push that one in. Go in there. Always be careful, make sure it's grabbing. You don't want that spring to snap. Get your old one. You gotta find that hole. So you gotta line it up what you had it. So you got a long ways to go. Get your new nut. Get your impact on now. You always gotta make sure you line up on the bottom. You see how it came off a little bit? Okay. You lined up? Yep. You do that, then you go look at the specs, and then you do a torque wrench. So you have to put it on specs. But that's how you do a loader spring loader.